Hey everyone, welcome back to Noiseberry Wrestling. Welcome to the second video on this channel. Last night, I went to the AEW Collision show here in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, and I wanted to kind of talk about my experience there and go over what wrestling I saw there and the results and stuff like that. I'm definitely not going to do this for every show, but it's the first televised wrestling show I've been to since like 2009. It's the first time AEW's been here in Calgary, so it was a big deal. And I think they treated it like a pretty big deal as well, which was nice to see. So here in Calgary, we're on Mountain Time. Collision starts live at 6 p.m. our time, and Ticketmaster emailed me the day of the show saying that doors were at 4 and the show starts at 5. And I was a little confused what they were going to do between 5 and 6. I assumed maybe they'd do like a dark match or something. It turns out they were taping some matches for Ring of Honor TV, which I had no idea was happening, didn't know until my girlfriend and I, who I went with, sat down in our seats, and Dasha came out and she said, we're doing Ring of Honor matches, or I think Bobby Cruz came out and said we're doing some Ring of Honor matches. So I actually missed the first match like completely because we'd only just got there. We were looking around for food and checking out the merch and stuff. But the very first match on the show for the Ring of Honor part was a Pure Rules match between Daniel Garcia and Jason Geiger. Didn't see any of this match. As we were walking around on the concourse, I could see Daniel Garcia on the screen. Figured, he was facing a jobber. That's kind of what Ring of Honor TV is now, so didn't worry too much about it. I remember we went down the steps, found our seats, which was the first row of the stands, so not quite on the floor, but literally just back from the floor, right next to the penalty box, which was interesting, as we'll get to in a little bit. We sat down like briefly in our seats just to make sure we knew where they were, and then we went back up to the concourse to go get some food. And as we were walking up the steps, I guess the match finished, and Daniel Garcia's in the ring, and as we're walking up the steps, I hear Katsuyori Shibata's music, and I was like, Shibata's here, but like we were too far gone up the steps to go back and look, so completely missed Shibata being here in Calgary, which was a bit disappointing. So yeah, didn't really see like any of that match at all, so I can't talk about that one. Up next was a ROH World Television Title Eliminator Tournament final match. I don't keep up with Ring of Honor at all anymore. I've watched like 2 pay-per-views since Tony Khan took it over, but there's too much wrestling for me to keep up with, and Ring of Honor has been pretty hit or miss for a while, I think. So I didn't know this tournament was going on. I wasn't interested. But this match was between Dalton Castle and Shane Taylor. Dalton Castle was very over with the crowd. I think he's over with pretty much every crowd. Everybody likes Dalton Castle. Even my girlfriend, who doesn't watch much wrestling at all, just kind of stuff that I show her, liked his outfit and thought he looked like a bit of a star. Not much to say about this match either. I was eating fries and like a chicken sandwich during this match, so I wasn't focusing on it too much. Don't think it lasted too long, but yeah, Dalton Castle beat Shane Taylor. Then the third match was a real surprise to me. It was a women's match, and a woman kind of snuck down the ramp before, like without music, hopped into the ring, and Bobby Cruz came on the microphone and he said, currently in the ring, from Stardom, Utami Hayashishita. And I was like, what? Utami Hayashishita's here? Like, just wrestling on a Ring of Honor, like, pre-show match? Utami was in my match of the year last year. It was her versus Syuri in Stardom. So just the fact that she was here in Calgary, no entrance or anything. Not many people knew who she was, but I was very excited about that. And her opponent, Trish Adora, came out. Trish got music and an entrance, Utami did not. I thought, that Utami got a jobber entrance. That's very disappointing. Utami actually won, which was really nice. Big surprise for me. She was great, another quick match, but both Utami and Trish were very good in that one. And then the final Ring of Honor match before Collision started was just a dark match. It was Powerhouse Hobbs beating Dalton Rogue, just a local jobber. Very, very quickly. Hobbs was super over with the crowd. People loved him. People loved his big, powerful moves. And he seemed to enjoy the crowd's adoration, I think. So after those Ring of Honor matches, there was probably about 10 minutes before 6, which is when Collision would go live. So they brought out the announcing team, which was Nigel McGuinness and Ian Riccoboni this time, because Kevin Kelly's in Japan doing the G1 right now. Ian seems to have taken to Calgary quite well. He was tweeting a little bit yesterday and the day before, pictures of himself in front of the Calgary Tower. He came out with a nice cowboy hat, because we're right at the end of Calgary Stampede right now. So he seemed to be enjoying his time in Calgary, which was nice. And it was at this point that my girlfriend and I looked over at the penalty box next to us, and who would be there but the full Spanish announce team was literally right next to us. It was me sitting, my girlfriend next to me, and literally right next to her was Alex Abrahantes on headset with a monitor, and the rest of the Spanish team. So they were just doing Spanish commentary right next to us, which was actually a really, really cool experience. They spoke fairly quietly, but because Alex was right next to us, whenever he would talk, we could pick up a little bit. So it was just really cool, just fun that they were right next to us. I have no idea how they do commentary with people yelling and cheering and clapping right next to them, because like there was no like barrier between us. It was literally like I could reach over and like touch his head if I wanted to. No idea how they focused on doing commentary, but they seemed to. So Collision opened up with the on-screen promos from all the participants, and I was really excited for those because I wanted to see how Calgary would react to CM Punk. This was the 5th episode of Collision. The first episode, which was Punk's return, was in Chicago, where he was obviously going to get cheered. Then the second episode was in Toronto, where he was very much booed, not much cheering for him in Toronto. And then last week was in Regina, Saskatchewan, where he was mostly cheered, actually. So I was really curious, how was Calgary going to react to CM Punk? I would say his promo video got a mixed reaction, with predominantly boos compared to cheers. There are definitely some cheers for CM Punk, but I would say more boos. And so after those video packages, they ran the opening for Collision. Huge pyro, but really impressive pyro. It was nice to see. And then the first match went on. It was the AEW World Tag Team title, best 2 out of 3 falls title match. FTR versus Bullet Club Gold, Jay White and Juice Robinson. And this match went a long time. This was a rematch of the Eliminator title match that they did the week before. I think that match went like 28 minutes or something. So I had a feeling they'd only announced this match and the 2 tournament finals for the 2-hour show. I thought this one was probably going to go long. And so the first fall, Jay White pinned Cash Wheeler in 19 minutes and 5 seconds into the match. And that's when I kind of knew this is going to go a while. This is probably going to eat up the whole first hour of the show. Then Cash Wheeler pinned Juice Robinson at 39 minutes 49 seconds of the match. So they were tied, and that meant that the next fall would win it. And to end the match, Dax Harwood pinned Juice Robinson at 58 minutes 3 seconds to win the match. So they really opened up Collision with a 58-minute match. And I guess at 55 minutes, Dasha came on the mic and said, "There's 5 minutes remaining in this match." And people kind of murmured a bit. They were like, "Wow, like it's been that long," and also this might go to a tie. So yeah, really good match. After it had finished, I said to my girlfriend that I thought I preferred the match the previous week, but I think that might be just because sometimes it was a bit hard to see what was going on from our seats. We had really good seats that could see in-ring action really well, as long as people weren't standing in front of us, or as long as the people on the floor weren't standing. As soon as they were standing, like even if we stood up, it was still like a little bit difficult to see. And if any of the action went outside of the ring, we really couldn't see it all from where we were, even if we stood. So I'm gonna have to rewatch this match for sure, because I think it will probably come across better on TV than it did just from where we were sitting. But yeah, it did not feel like a 58-minute match, even watching live in the arena. It felt pretty quick, so that's a great match. After that was the Owen Hart Foundation Women's Tournament Finals between Willow Nightingale and Ruby Soho. Unfortunately, we didn't see any of this match. We just went back up to the concourse to get another drink, because it was pretty warm in there, and we'd been doing quite a bit of chanting and wooing for the previous match. So we got back to our seats like right after it finished, so we didn't see that match, unfortunately. But Willow defeated Ruby Soho to win the women's tournament. Poor Ruby loses in the finals for the second straight year, but obviously well deserved by Willow. She's having a great year this year. Then we got a really, really quick tag team match between the Kings of the Black Throne, Brody King and Malachi Black, defeating a couple of local jobbers, Artemis Spencer and Randy Myers. I've never heard of Randy Myers, but some of the people around me like really perked up when his name was announced, and some people were chanting for Randy. So maybe just a local Calgary guy that I've never heard of. But Malachi and Brody beat the jobbers in 2 minutes 56 seconds. And then the final match of Collision was the Owen Hart Foundation men's tournament finals between Ricky Starks and CM Punk. Ricky was super over when he came out. CM Punk was super over and super booed when he came out. I was really glad that people actually cheered for Ricky instead of just being against CM Punk. A lot of like issues that John Cena's opponents would have in his heyday would be that nobody would cheer for his opponent. They would only cheer for or against Cena. So like the John Cena chants would be "Let's go Cena, Cena sucks," whereas last night people would chant "Let's go Ricky, CM Punk." So it was just nice that it wasn't all pro or anti-Punk. It was also pro Ricky Starks, which was great. I said to my girlfriend, it was so cathartic just to boo CM Punk vociferously. Just there's not many forms of entertainment where the crowd can really express themselves like they can in pro wrestling. So being able to just boo CM Punk was really fun. It was great. I think that's where I partially lost my voice. It's like a little bit croaky today because I was doing a lot of booing for Punk and cheering for Ricky in that match. And so Ricky Starks beat CM Punk, possibly with a heel turn. Kind of definitely a flat finish in the arena. It was a little bit hard to see what was going on, but I guess Ricky grabbed the rope when he was pinning Punk, and so Ricky beat Punk in 19 minutes 35 seconds to win the tournament. Definitely not sure if it's 100% a heel turn right now, but Ricky did go up the ramp to the stage where Jushin Thunder Liger was waiting with the Owen Cup trophy, and Ricky just grabbed it from him and ran off to the back. So definitely seemed like a heel turn, which is disappointing because he was a great babyface, and I don't want Punk to be a babyface. But I was also very disappointed not to hear Liger's entrance music. He literally just walked out onto the stage, no fanfare or anything, no announcement. I'm sure commentary mentioned him, but yeah, he was just kind of there. So I was sad we didn't get to hear his music because his music is great. So that was the end of Collision. Punk just sat in the ring where he was pinned, just looking shocked. The whole time Ricky was getting confetti on him and running up the ramp and stuff. And Ricky's music stopped playing, and the Battle of the Belts theme started playing, and Punk was still just sitting in the ring. And then he started clearing out as the Battle of the Belts show began. So that they pretty much went right into it. I don't know how much downtime there was on like Fight or TNT or wherever it's on. But yeah, for us, they literally like stopped Ricky's theme music, played the Battle of the Belts music, Punk walked off, and then they played Orange Cassidy's music. And so the first match on Battle of the Belts was the AEW International title match between Orange Cassidy and Lance Archer. Jake Roberts was super over. He came out with Lance Archer. The crowd loved Jake Roberts. He had quite a presence in Stampede Wrestling back in the day, so he's known to old school wrestling fans, so that's why they liked him so much. The finish of the match came when Lance Archer was counted out at 10 minutes 17 seconds. Another really flat finish for the crowd, it felt like. I don't know how it came across on TV, but Battle of the Belts definitely felt like a very subdued crowd, very quiet crowd. I think we'd all kind of tired ourselves out from the bookended shows of Collision, going crazy for the tag match and booing and cheering Ricky and booing Punk in the last match. So Battle of the Belts felt very, very quiet. Orange Cassidy was still really over, of course, but yeah, the finish definitely felt a bit flat, I think, for us. The next match was an AEW Women's World Title match between Toni Storm and Taya Valkyrie. Taya is Canadian, so it makes sense that she would want to be on this show. She's born in Vancouver. I know she did training here in Calgary with Lance Storm, I'm pretty sure. But Dasha did announce her as being from Calgary, which is not true. She is from Vancouver. But she came out with great Calgary gear, red outfit, and a white cowboy hat. So she was obviously the favorite. Apparently the live feed went down during this match because apparently there was a pretty intense storm going on outside. We had no idea inside the Saddle Dome, but when I got home, I was looking at like reviews of the show. I saw quite a few comments saying that the feed totally went down during this match, and I think they even missed the finish, which was Toni Storm obviously retaining her title in 11 minutes 16 seconds. Then the final match on Battle of the Belts was the AEW TNT title match between Luchasaurus and Shawn Spears. Spears was decently over. He's another Canadian, so as soon as they announced, making his way to the ring from Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada, people kind of perk up and cheer a little bit. This felt like a pretty dead match, pretty much until Spears did his 10 punches in the corner. That's when the crowd really perked up, and the last minute or so of the match was pretty good with good crowd reactions, I think. But yeah, this one felt like a very tired crowd, which makes sense. This was the end of the 4th hour of wrestling if people had been there from the start. But anyway, Luchasaurus retained 9 minutes and 12 seconds. I don't know at what point they cut off the feed, but Christian came on the mic after the match and just kind of buried Calgary and buried Canada and stuff like that. Buried Bret Hart. He said Bret was too much for a coward to show up and face him or whatever. And I really thought, okay, they're not airing this on TV, maybe they're going to bring out Bret Hart, but they didn't. So yeah, Christian Cage was just getting heat. And then I thought that would be the end of the show, but it turns out afterwards they were taping even more Ring of Honor. So I was pretty tired at this point, but my girlfriend and I stayed for a couple more matches. There were still 5 matches left to go. And, we'd been there a long time, so we watched the first 2 and then we left. So the first one we saw was a tag team match between The Righteous, Dutch and Vincent, where they defeated the boys, Dalton Castle's boys. I don't keep up with Ring of Honor, like I said, so most of this stuff didn't mean anything to me. Stu Grayson was out with The Righteous, and after the match, Evil Uno came out. He got a nice pop for the Dark Order. He was out there with a chair, and he was, yelling at Stu, and Stu grabbed one of the boys and killed him in the ring. And then they all just kind of left, so that's a Ring of Honor story that I'm sure I'm not familiar with. After that was Layla Hirsch defeating Nicole Matthews in another short match. Nicole Matthews, I believe, is a local Calgary wrestler. I'm pretty sure I saw her in Dungeon Wrestling last October. Again, quite a bit of the crowd that was left, because a lot of people left after Battle of the Belts, seemed to be familiar with Nicole Matthews. So again, yeah, I assume she was a Calgary performer. The next match was a Pure Rules match between Josh Woods and James Stone. At this point, my girlfriend and I got up and left. We wanted to go check out the merch, and there was supposedly going to be fireworks as part of the Calgary Stampede, so we wanted to go check out those. So we did not watch this match, or the next match, which was Athena defeating Nikita for a Ring of Honor Women's World Title Proving Ground match. Don't know. And then the final match was a 4-way tag team match. Dasha announced, or I think it was probably Bobby Cruz announced, that was going to be the main event of the Ring of Honor stuff. And when they said Ring of Honor tag team match, I was like, man, would it be the Lucha Bros? Because I don't want to miss the Lucha Bros. I love the Lucha Bros. So I was kind of torn on wanting to stay, but I figured most of the crowd had gone home by this point. I didn't think they were going to put the Lucha Bros out in front of nobody in the crowd, so I thought we were safe to leave. We were. Lucha Bros were not there. The tag team match was The Kingdom, defeating Action Andretti and Darius Martin. Would have been pretty cool to see. The Bollywood Boys, Canadian, and the Workhorse Men. So I don't think I missed anything too much there. And that was the show. I guess partway through Battle of the Belts, the Acclaimed came out and did a promo and said they were challenging for the Trios Tag Titles next week on Collision, and Tony Schiavone was in the ring for that. Prior to Tony Schiavone getting in the ring, he actually walked past right where we were, right in front of us, and he kind of stopped next to us, looked up into the crowd and stuff, and we all like cheered and clapped for Tony and stuff, and so I held out my hand and he gave me a fist bump and I was like, thanks Tony. So that was pretty cool. Got to be right up close to Tony Schiavone, got a little fist bump from him, so that was very nice. So there you go, that was I guess a bit of a lengthy now recap, review of the AEW wrestling here in Calgary. I was just really excited that AEW is here. I've been following AEW since day one. So the fact that they finally came to Calgary and I think seem to have a good time here and seem to enjoy being here, like hopefully they'll come back. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about it because I had a ton of fun yesterday and I just wanted to do a video on it. Alright, thank you guys very much for watching this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe if you did, and I will see you guys later.